PET plastic is not the only recyclable material in the market. Ferrous metals, like iron, and non-ferrous metals, such as aluminum, bronze, and copper, are high-value recyclable materials. Metals come from intermediaries to a facility for classification and processing. Once offloaded, separated, and weighed, prices are negotiated and paid out. Aluminum cans are sorted and bagged to be later compacted. The compactor crushes aluminum cans to a precise cube, dense enough to facilitate efficient transport and storage. These cubes of aluminum cans are ready for export. Abroad, aluminum cans become cans anew, as 98% of the original aluminum material is recoverable. Other assorted non-ferrous metals are then sorted for compaction. These vertical balers make dense cubes of metal, which will be exported to the United States and China. Other high-value metals like copper and bronze are collected, sorted, compacted, and exported for reprocessing. Companies take responsibility to assure that these materials come from legitimate sources and do not accept stolen metal. Ferrous metals, or metals that contain iron, make their way from the consumer to the factories through pepenadores and junk collectors. These days, almost all iron is recycled as it has a high economic value. Here, we see a plane from the Air Force ready to be processed. Iron less than 1 inch thick can be crushed into cubes using specialized machinery. The worker on the left stacks cubes for export. Iron over 1 inch thick is not compactable and needs to be cut into 1.5 meter sections with an acetylene torch for exportation. Puerto Cortés, on Honduras' north coast, is the largest port in Central America. Most of the country's recycled PET plastics, ferrous metals, iron, and non-ferrous metals, aluminum, copper, and bronze, winds up here in Puerto Cortés. Cargo ships bring recyclable materials to Asia and the United States, amongst other foreign markets. The recycled materials are further reprocessed abroad to make new products. Plastic bottles become new plastic bottles, cans become cans, and iron is melted down and recast. These reprocessed materials will be imported anew in Honduras, and the recycling process starts over. Diverse plastics are often recycled, reprocessed, and resold in Honduras. In Tegucigalpa, the company Reciclables recycles diverse plastics to make tubing for electrical wiring and irrigation. Low-density polyethylene plastic is recovered from the dump and other big plastic users like supermarkets and factories. Plastics are then sorted and milled into fine particles. The first step is melting the milled plastic. Once hot and soft, the special mold gives the form of a tube. tube runs through cool pools of water to solidify their final form. The tubing is dragged through the production line by a motor and 2 tires. The workers roll up spools of tubing for sale in Honduras as protection for electric lines and for irrigation. A leading recycling company in diverse plastics is Vanguardia, located in San Pedro Sula. They work with low and high density polyethylene plastics, which are melted, purified, and cut into small bits or pellets. The pellets are then sold or reformed into bowls, buckets, and plastic balls. 5-gallon water jugs are made from diverse plastics that have special qualities for use in food and water consumption, making them highly valuable in the recycled plastic market. Once these bottles become cracked or broken, they are collected, milled, washed, and exported to make new containers. Cardboard is compacted for export to markets in Mexico and Chile, where it is milled and reprocessed. Cardboard also serves as recycling accessories for packing and transporting recyclable materials. Large recycling facilities in Tegucigalpa and San Pedro Sula collect batteries without the acid, which are then exported abroad to remove and reprocess the valuable lead that they contain. Not all materials are recycled. Some are too toxic or dangerous to the environment. Pesticide containers are typically disposed of in and around rural households. These containers leak contaminating chemicals into the earth, damaging soil productivity, poisoning groundwater, and causing deformation or death in rural families. Fluorescent lighting, although energy efficient, is highly contaminating if not disposed of correctly, as they contain mercury, a dangerous heavy metal which is released from broken bulbs. Mercury from broken fluorescent lighting can poison drinking water and deform or kill children that play with the broken bulbs. Used motor oil contains heavy metals like lead that contaminate our environment, especially when it is used for the traditional purpose of suppressing dust in the streets. Pesticide containers, fluorescent lighting, and used motor oil are just a few of ultra-contaminating materials that require special chemical transformation in Bihao, Chaloma, where Cementos del Norte is located. Northern Cements is an example of the largest existing industry in Honduras, both in monetary and physical proportions. This plant plays a critical role as one of the only places to permanently dispose of dangerous materials in Honduras. Essentially, people bring contaminated materials to the plant, where they are milled and burnt in a rotary kiln at 1450 degrees Celsius to generate energy and the basic input, a fine dust, that is used in the production of cement. The contaminating materials are disposed of appropriately, and the caloric energy that they contain is recovered. Aside from pesticide bottles, fluorescent lighting, or used motor oil, oily rags, tires, and other contaminated materials shown here in their milled state also feed the fire. Plastics used in melon production in Honduras' southern region are burnt in this plant as they are too contaminated with fertilizers and pesticides to be reprocessed. This giant oven is where contaminated materials, which actually substitute for petroleum-based fuels, feed the rotary kiln for the production of energy and a fine dust used as an input for cement. Burning at 1450 degrees Celsius in this rotary kiln, the heavy metals and contaminants are destroyed. The end result is the production of cement, which is an indispensable construction material in Honduras. Now that we understand what recycling is taking place, we should examine the economic, social, and environmental benefits to recycling. Recycling's economic benefits are wages to the unemployed, profits through value creation, and less dependence on foreign goods. Recycling's social benefits include employment generation, community education, and health benefits by reducing pollution and eliminating mosquito breeding focal points. Recycling's environmental benefit includes responsible disposal of our solid waste, substitution of basic inputs with recyclables, less air, soil, and water pollution, and less waste contaminating scenic beauty. When recycling is done sustainably, the economic, social, and environmental benefits are assured over the long term.
Bueno, sostenibilidad empresarial es establecer una relación directa entre el aspecto económico, o sea, cómo voy a generar utilidades, cómo voy a generar dinero, entrelazándolo con el bienestar social, no solo de mis empleados, mis asociados, sino que de mis comunidades, recordando de que no pueden existir empresas exitosas en comunidades fracasadas, y adicional, considerando de que los aspectos ambientales son inherentes a mi negocio. Yo no puedo funcionar correctamente en una organización si yo no administro correctamente los recursos que yo necesito para producir o para vender.
Now that we understand how Hondurans are recycling, we should analyze our own personal solid waste impact and take measures to diminish it.